Hello and welcome back to Wildlife Quest. Today we are traveling up north and starting with our tours of AquaZoo Leeuwarden in Friesland. The zoo started out as an otter park in 1993, focused on breeding programs. After a couple of rebrands and changing of parent companies, the zoo is now home to various animal species, most of them living in or around the water. This zoo doesn't go too hard on theming, but features a lot of green nature and water. Today, however, we are starting our tour inside. Connected to the entrance building is a building featuring various animal species. We start off in a room filled with vivaria. In the center is a tank home to long-snout seahorses, sea urchins and corals. In the walls you can find axolotl, Portuguese fire salamanders, blue vampire crabs and yellow fire shrimp, killifish, golden and blue poison dart frogs, and Mallorcan midwife toads. These toads only live on a small part of the island Mallorca and are therefore very vulnerable. They were thought to be extinct until rediscovery in 1979 and are now supported by multiple breeding programs. AquaZoo has also been successful in breeding the toads, having a special display tank where visitors can see the tadpoles grow up. The next enclosure we'll come across is for South American reptiles, red-footed tortoises and a green iguana. While this enclosure doesn't feature any big pools, iguanas are pretty good swimmers. They jump from trees into the water to escape predators. Around the corner is a dark room with two South American aquaria. In the left wall is a tank with the infamous red-bellied piranha. Piranha might seem scary, but they very rarely attack humans, and there has never been a recorded death by these fish. Last time I visited, the tank was empty, since the tank needed renovating, but the piranhas will return. The other tank, which has a tilted viewing gallery, is home to the piranha's vegetarian cousin, the black pacu. You'll also find ocelot river stingrays and leopard plecos. Before we head to the next habitat, we find a small shop display featuring all kinds of exotic animal products, which is of course to educate us about why it is wrong to buy these products. Next, we find ourselves along an African river, which is of course home to Nile crocodiles. These four siblings have called this enclosure their home since 2017. The enclosure, set under a faux bridge, features a big pond with fish to keep the water clean, a waterfall, and multiple sandy areas with heat and UV lamps. A large part of it is surrounded by glass viewing windows, so we can have a good look of these crocs both in land and in the water. Along the path around the enclosure is also a fake croc, which I've seen many people stare at for minutes before braving it and walking past. These predators are unexpectedly fast when they attack, something I've experienced myself when I was crouched down taking pictures and one of these crocs lunged out of the water against the glass. Crocs are amazing animals, which absolutely need to be respected. After we walk past a crocodile's nest and through the jungle, we find ourselves back in South America, with on the right hand side an enclosure for big hairy armadillos. These diggers are covered in bony plates to protect them. The flexible bands along its back ensure that movement isn't impaired by the stiff armor. On the left, you'll find the indoor enclosure for the giant otters. Their outdoor enclosure can be viewed from a few windows in the crocodile hall and from a walkway outside, which you'll come across later in your zoo visit. The giant otter is one of the biggest mustelids on the planet, maxing out at 6 feet. And unlike their cousins and neighbors, which we'll visit another day, the giant otter is a pretty rare sight in zoos. While they are sometimes taking a nap, it is rare that I see these energetic animals sitting still. Otters are very social animals, and considerable amount of their time is spent on grooming, playing and resting together, as well as cooperatively hunting. They are also very chatty, having up to 15 different types of calls. Don't let their cuteness fool you though. They are among some of the most fierce animals in the Amazon, taking down piranhas, anacondas and caimans, and even defending their territory against jaguars. In the next room is an enclosure home to more South American species. It was formerly home to cotton-top tamarins, which is why they are in some of the footage. Now, it is just home to Linnaeus two-toed sloth, white-faced sakis, and Azara's agoutis, which, if you're lucky, will have young. Agoutis are pretty elusive animals and are hard to study because of their shyness. They are known as jungle gardeners, as they often bury nuts and seeds and then forget where they put them, therefore helping new plants to grow. The final room of the building is home to some local marine wildlife. Unfortunately, this room has been closed for a while now, but it seems like they are preparing to open it back up again. So we might check back in another time. And that concludes our tour of AquaZoo Leeuwarden indoor. Next time we are at the zoo, we'll probably cover some of the outdoor areas in multiple episodes. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time on Wildlife Quest. As always, I'd like to encourage you all to help protect the world's wildlife. There's always something you can do to help, from donating to just spreading the word. Today I'd like to highlight an organization which the zoo also supports. The World Land Trust, which tries to protect nature all around the world. They also work in Paraguay to protect species like the giant otter. They do this through land purchase, reforestation and reserve management. You can support them by donating, fundraising, buying from the web shop, and of course by spreading the word. Thank you very much again for watching. See ya!